Hey, welcome to another episode of GeekOutdoors.com. So, Love, Death, and Robots is a 18 series sci-fi fantasy animated CG short story love fest that is really fun. And it's brought to you by the directors, producers, David Fincher of the Seven movie fame, and also Tim Miller, the director of the original Deadpool movie. Now, this thing is very reminiscent of Heavy Metal, which is basically an animated movie back in 1981, and that was based upon a graphic novel comic magazine series. And there was also a sequel called Heavy Metal 2000, and it's basically a reboot of the Heavy Metal movie, the animated movie back in 1981. And so the reason why that's the case is because if you've ever seen that, this is very similar. So there's 18 different stories, and they're done by different animators, different storytellers, and the majority of it is CG. And it spans all types of stuff, from combat, robots, a lot of robots in there, humor. There's even yogurt and fantasy elements that are really hard to explain. And there's even one of the episodes or stories that is actually telling the civilization of the whole world in a refrigerator. And so it's really interesting because whatever you think you've seen in sci-fi or fantasy, there are probably different elements of that in here. So if you were somebody who's really interested into fantasy elements, like vampires, werewolves, it's in here. Or maybe you're really interested in sci-fi. Well, there's a lot of robots. There's a lot of space-related, stories in here. Some of it might be reminiscent of things like Aliens or Alien or even Starship Troopers. And so there is a lot to see and enjoy here. And I really found something to really like about pretty much every single one of them. Whether it was the opening one where there was this battle with this symbiotic relationship with a beast, or later on where you were taken to this world where there's cows, aliens, and mechs all put together. It just doesn't make sense, but it's really enjoyable. And once again, it reminds me a lot of the 1981 Heavy Metal movie. And that had a lot of different elements. It was sci-fi and fantasy, and it did it all well. And each one of the stories was very self-contained. And you'll notice glimpses throughout the story that they'll have certain elements from one story that will be in another one. And so they're not exactly in the same world, but there kind of is. It's really weird. And some of the visual elements, it's just really breathtaking to me. There's this one where it's called Witness, and it's a combination of CG, looks like live action, and they superimpose animation on it, and comic book elements. It was really interesting. Now, I will say that this whole series, it's not meant for kids. Very much like the Heavy Metal series and the Heavy Metal magazine and graphic novels, this is for adults. And so I would not recommend that you let your kids see this because there is a lot of violence, a lot of sexuality, lots of adult themed things that just really are not meant for younger audiences. So I just want to put that out there. But if you are the type of person who loves sci-fi fantasy, and especially if you really enjoyed the Heavy Metal animated movie or the magazines, you will enjoy Love, Death, and Robots. It's really fun. There's so many things that you probably think about even afterwards because it kind of has that type of impact, where you watch a short story and visually it's striking. You're trying to figure out what's going on. But then later on, you'll probably go back and revisit it like I have. I've already revisited some of these episodes because it is just so different and it's striking. And so that is my overall thoughts on Love, Death, and Robots. I highly recommend you watch it. It's a fun time, and especially, like I said, if you are a fan of sci-fi and fantasy, you will enjoy this. Hey geeks, if you are a creative geek like me and you wanted to learn how to create content on YouTube and other places on the internet, then check out my Gold Content Creators Group, where you'll get access to 30 videos plus additional content for all the creative geeks out there. And the best part of it is, all of this is free. Simply head over to the link below, check out my page, and sign up for my Gold Content Creators Group. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the other side. Thanks for checking out this episode. And as always, if you like these videos, be sure to click on the subscribe button. And for full written content, audio content, and additional geek stuff, head over to geekoutdoors.com, and I'll see you outdoors on the very next episode.